Welcome to Water Talks coverage from WEFTEC 19, broadcasting live from Chicago, Illinois. WEFTEC, the Water Quality Event. Water Talk is made possible by wateronline.com, showcasing today's water industry leaders and innovators. And now, here is your host, Todd Schnick.
All right, good afternoon and welcome back to Water Talk. I am your host, Todd Schnick, joined by my friend and colleague, Bill King. We're in for a treat. This will be a fun conversation. Cool company doing some interesting work, talking about a very important topic. It's going to be a great conversation.
Very excited to get into it, Todd.
Let's get into it then. So we're joined this afternoon by Neil McAdam. He's a Senior Vice President of Sales with World Water Works. Neil, my friend, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure is ours. I appreciate you making time to join us. I'm glad we finally got you on set to get into this conversation. Appreciate you carving out some time for us. So, Neil, before we get into our important conversation, tell the world a bit about the World Water Works. How are you out there serving the market?
Well, we're a 21-year-old company that was, born into the food and beverage market, and principally that was around one technology called dissolved air flotation. We very quickly realized that technology alone couldn't satisfy the needs that customers had to treat wastewater streams, effectively. So we expanded that by adding a biological process called MBBR, and here we are, 2019, we're the market leader in North America for MBBR DAF solutions.
Wow.
And Neil, you mentioned the food and beverage industry there, but what other industrial markets are you working in and why?
Well, we cover all markets, but there's three that we principally focus on. Food and beverage is our number one volume opportunity market, simply because of our history. We're very well known. We do a great job. 70% of our business in 2019 is from repeat customers. There's not many companies can boast that, and it's a testimony to the job that we do for them. So the three principal markets that we're focused on: food and beverage, oil and gas, and primary metals. So primary metals just break into two. It's steel, and I could say aluminium, but they probably wouldn't understand what I'm talking about. I'll just say aluminum.
I would understand what you're talking
totally
about.
would know that, yeah.
Well, I've been talking with Bill long enough, so I knew what you were talking about. So, well, that's fascinating. So, pretty integral markets to be playing in. So, what changes are you seeing in those spaces?
Well, for food and beverage, for me, the single biggest change is what the supermarkets are doing with their food. So many food processors 20, 30 years ago would actually kill and package chicken. Now, you can go and get chicken in an orange sauce with rice. So the changes that we've been seeing forcing the food producers to make drastic changes themselves are born out of what the consumer's buying in the stores. And ready meals has shaped so much of that over the last 15 years.
Think of that, but yeah, wow.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the processing facilities were designed based on a very specific wastewater composition, a flow and a load, basically. Well, of course, as the markets have grown, the food choices that you want for your microwave, you're wanting your ready dinner, and that facility doesn't have a wastewater plant capable of handling the waste generated by that type of activity. So the changes that we've seen, wholesale over the last 15 years is a lot of these plants have to upgrade their wastewater treatment systems. There was a time when Coca-Cola just made Coca-Cola and Diet Coke. Now they're doing orange juice, they're doing bottled water, they're doing teas. So the composition of that wastewater has changed enormously, but their wastewater plant was originally built for Coke and Diet Coke.
One of the interesting questions I would have there is, so the plant that they have, the original plant, is it because of the variability of the various different food substances now that is sort of hitting the same plant, or is it more being driven by these new ingredients that are showing up?
That nails it right there, because what you've had is that You've had a plant that typically you would be removing fat, soils, and grease. You'd be removing particulate. So then you would have the soluble BOD that was left with just that processing of a piece of chicken, killing a chicken. But now they're going to be marinated in sauces, and those sauces are very high in sugar content. So what's happened is that soluble BOD, where it might have been 800 to 1200, is now 2000, 3000. So, that wastewater plant, as it existed, as it was designed, can't cope with the new load. So what we've found ourselves doing is developing technologies that can be retrofitted with minimum amount of intrusion and allow them to become compliant, to allow them to meet the needs that they have, and also in some instances give them extra capacity that they could never have imagined.